It looks like most high-ranking Black officials have been pushed out of their federal jobs. Now, full disclosure, right? I have no interest in this administration. I don't want to talk about it, right? But I am interested in how so much of this playbook is from lessons in history that y'all weren't allowed to know. Hi, I'm Angela. I'm a historian, and let me tell you about a time when we had a president who fired all of the high ranking Black federal workers under his administration. And let's talk about how that worked out for the United States, shall we? It didn't, just to be clear. So picture this scene, right? 1913, Woodrow Wilson from Virginia grows up in the South during the Civil War and Reconstruction, right? He got his PhD from Johns Hopkins University and then became president of Princeton University, right? And he becomes the first Southerner to win the presidency since the war, right? And he believed in the racist pseudoscience of eugenics, and he used to tell darky jokes in private. I guess you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. Well, so the first thing he does is take all of that education and uses it to impose segregation inside the federal bureaucracy, right? Everywhere where he has power, he begins to consolidate, right? Which means Black officers were forced out or discharged on dubious grounds from all branches of the military, right? And he fought his own generals. Doesn't that sound familiar? Like Commander Pershing, who tried to protect his Black service members. And our US Navy had never really been segregated when the other branches were because of those tight quarters on ships, but he hired a supporter of Jim Crow. Wrong picture. Josephus Daniels as Secretary of the Navy, right? And Daniels was a violent white supremacist who liked his drink a little too much, right? If you know what I mean. And he segregated ships and training facilities, everything, right? While expanding opportunities for advancement for white sailors by firing Black ones. Then we had the Red Summer, the worst race-based violence in the US since Reconstruction, right? Hundreds of Black Americans lost their lives in race massacres, most of which took place outside of the South. Yeah, right? Why? Because Wilson's attitude allowed for racists everywhere to feel empowered to take action, right? He spoke out against it, but he didn't actually take any action against the lynchers. You know what he did do, though? He screened Birth of a Nation, which is essentially a Klan hype film. And what was the result? Progress was set back decades, right? We didn't desegregate the military until the late 1940s. And segregation and whites-only hiring practices didn't see serious reversal until JFK administration in the 1960s. And of course, he was killed for it. Anyway, if all this sounds familiar, it's because time is a circle, right? Check on your historians. We are not okay.